The big question of identity. So let's talk about you. When you think about who you are, what comes to mind? Is it your name, your hobbies, the music you love? Or is it your role as a daughter, a son, a student, a friend? This question, who am I, is one of the biggest and most important questions we ever ask ourselves. It's about our identity, which is like a personal story we tell ourselves and the world about who we are. It shapes our choices, our beliefs, and how we connect with everyone around us. It's a huge deal, and humans have been wrestling with it for thousands of years. Now, there isn't just one simple answer to this question. In fact, different cultures have come up with some wildly different ideas about what identity even means. Today, we're going to dive into two massive influential systems of thought that offer contrasting answers. On one side, we have Confucianism, an ancient philosophy from East Asia. It suggests that our identity is fundamentally woven into our relationships with others. We are who we are because of our connections. On the other side, we have Liberalism, a way of thinking that became super popular in the West, which argues that our identity is something we own as unique, free individuals. Think of it like this. Is your identity something you discover by looking inward, at your own unique feelings and desires? Or is it something you build by looking outward, at your responsibilities to your family, your community, and your society? This isn't just some abstract philosophical debate for a stuffy classroom. This clash between collective identity and individual identity plays out every single day in our schools, our governments, and even in our own families. It influences everything from how we vote to how we argue with our parents about our future. So, it's pretty important. Understanding these two perspectives is like having a map to navigate the complex world of human interaction. Confucianism offers a vision of a stable, harmonious society where everyone knows their part and works together for the common good. Liberalism, meanwhile, champions a world where every person has the freedom to pursue their own version of happiness and express their true self without fear. Both of these ideas have profoundly shaped our modern world, and exploring them helps us understand the different ways people live and think. So let's get started. Alright, let's travel back in time about 2,500 years to ancient China, where a philosopher named Confucius was thinking a lot about how to create a better, more peaceful society. His big idea? That people aren't isolated islands. Instead, he taught that our identity is defined by our relationships. You aren't just you. You are a son or a daughter, a student to a teacher, a friend to a friend. For Confucius, these connections aren't just nice-to-haves. They are the very building blocks of who we are. Your identity isn't something you find. It's something you cultivate through your actions within these relationships. At the core of this idea are the 5 relationships: ruler and subject, parent and child, husband and wife, older sibling and younger sibling, and friend and friend. Each relationship comes with a set of duties and responsibilities. For example, a parent should be caring and a child should be respectful and obedient. This might sound a bit rigid, but for Confucius, this structure was the key to social harmony. If everyone fulfilled their roles properly, society would function like a well-oiled machine. Being a noble person, or meant understanding and perfecting your role in this human web. So how did you learn to be a good son or a good ruler? Through rituals and moral education. Rituals, were not just empty ceremonies. They were everyday actions, like how you greet your elders or share a meal, that trained you to be considerate and respectful. They were like a social grammar that taught you how to interact with others correctly. Education wasn't just about memorizing facts, it was about cultivating virtues like benevolence, righteousness, and filial piety. The goal was to internalize these values so that caring for others became your second nature. This way of thinking creates a society where the group is more important than the individual. Your personal desires, ambitions, and feelings are always considered in the context of what is best for your family or your community. The strength of this approach is that it can create amazing social cohesion and a powerful sense of belonging. The challenge, however, is that it can sometimes feel restrictive. What if your personal dreams conflict with your family's expectations? In a purely Confucian world, the pressure to conform and prioritize the group's needs over your own would be immense. Now let's fast forward a couple of thousand years and jump over to Europe, where a very different idea about identity was taking root during a period called the Enlightenment. Thinkers like John Locke started arguing that people are born as free and equal individuals. This was a radical idea. At the time, your identity was mostly determined by who your parents were. If you were born a peasant, you died a peasant. But these new thinkers, the early liberals, said no. They believed every single person has natural rights, like the right to life, liberty, and property. Your identity wasn't given to you by your family or your king. It was yours. In the liberal view, the self is seen as independent, rational, and autonomous. You are the captain of your own ship. Your identity is something you discover by looking inward, exploring your own thoughts, feelings, and desires. It's about authenticity, being true to yourself. This philosophy champions individual freedom above all else. This includes freedom of speech, so you can say what you believe, freedom of religion, so you can worship or not worship as you choose, and the freedom to pursue your own definition of a good life, as long as you don't harm others. Education in a liberal society is geared towards helping individuals reach their full potential. It's not just about teaching you to fit into a predefined role, but about giving you the critical thinking skills to question things and decide for yourself what you believe and who you want to be. The goal is to create self-sufficient citizens who can think for themselves and participate in a democratic society. It celebrates diversity and difference, arguing that a society is stronger when it includes a wide range of voices and perspectives, rather than demanding that everyone think and act the same way. The social implications of liberalism are profound. It leads to societies that prioritize individual rights, democracy, and equality before the law. The great strength of this model is the incredible personal freedom it offers. It empowers people to break from tradition, challenge injustice, and invent new ways of living. The potential downside, however, is that this focus on the individual can sometimes lead to social fragmentation and loneliness. If everyone is focused on their own journey, it can be harder to build strong communities and a sense of shared responsibility for one another. So, we have two powerful, compelling, and very different visions of identity. Confucianism tells us we are part of a whole, our identity forged in the fires of relationship and duty. It champions harmony, stability, and a deep sense of belonging. Its challenge lies in its potential to suppress individual expression and dissent. Liberalism, on the other hand, tells us we are unique individuals, authors of our own life story, with inalienable rights and freedoms. It champions liberty, diversity, and self-discovery. Its challenge is the risk of excessive individualism, which can lead to social isolation and a weakened sense of community. But here's the thing about the world today. It's not an either-or situation. Most societies, and most of us as individuals, are living in a blend of these two ideas. Many East Asian countries with deep Confucian roots, like South Korea and Japan, have also adopted liberal democratic governments and embraced concepts of individual rights and personal achievement. You can see the Confucian value of family loyalty existing right alongside a fierce drive for individual success in business or the arts. It's a constant negotiation between the needs of the group and the desires of the self. Similarly, in Western liberal societies, there's a growing recognition that maybe, just maybe, an overemphasis on the individual has come at a cost. There are ongoing debates about the importance of community, civic duty, and shared values. People are actively seeking to rebuild a sense of connection, whether through local community projects, social advocacy groups, or simply rediscovering the importance of family and neighborhood ties. We are realizing that total freedom without connection can feel empty, and that our relationships give our lives meaning and context, something Confucius understood very well. This brings us to the final and perhaps most important question. It's the question you have to answer for yourself. Can we find a balance? Can we build an identity that honors our deep connections to others, our families, our cultures, our communities, while also celebrating our unique individual freedom to choose our own path? Can we be both a dutiful child and a free-thinking artist? Can we be both a loyal member of a community and a vocal critic of its injustices? There is no easy answer, but navigating this tension is one of the great projects of being a person in the 21st century. What do you think?